NQ. Alright, NQ. Here's what we have here. So, we've been going through quite a bit of a range, I would say, because, hold on, let me pull this up right now so I can see the chat. Okay, I can see chat now. Cool. Okay, we're kind of in this range a little bit after we've taken these lows. We started building up reacting off of this area. We could potentially return back to this area, I would say, just because of the fact that we've came here and do sellers after respecting it. Sold off. So we had that sell off, taking out some sort of internals taken. So sellers were essentially induced. Then we had this price action from high to low that induced buyers. Those traders get trapped. So once those traders got trapped, we have a BOS in the market. BOS in the market. Let's mark that out. Sellers are also trapped because sellers are selling this thing, as you can see. We got reactions off of here, which caused some sort of buildup, which gave us our inducement low. So if we were to dissect this price action, we know this low was our inducement low. It's clear as day here. Let me show you. Clear as day. This low is the reason why we took out this high. So if you want to mark it out, low, high from that range, low, high from that range, we see that buyers want to get into this market. You know, from other retail concepts that used to be taught, you know, Fibonacci, you know, price come back into the discount, potential buys, retail's buying that. So if we look at price action from Monday, we can kind of depict out what we had based on the direction that we just marked out. So Monday's price action comes here. Okay, so we're trading in this leg here. And what we had was price took out this high, so we know that this low was a potential target. Why was this low a potential target? We induced buyers, trapping sellers. But here's where we built liquidity. Let me see, where is this trap sellers? Let me just delete all this other stuff because I want to make this clean. Alright, so when we tap into these areas, right, we induce sellers. Now we have a target at the lows, but our target isn't there yet until we start to build liquidity. So what has to happen first is price needs to respect these areas. So once we take out a high, we don't immediately have liquidity down here yet, just because of the fact that we haven't respected anything. So as soon as we come in here, we respect something, okay, we move away by inducing buyers. So we induce buyers here twice after reacting off of this area here. So this area here, let's zoom in on what this actually is. This price action, all it is just, you know, you have your BLS in the market. So retail traders will see that as some sort of POI. Drag it out. Drag it out. So we react off of that area, and that area causes us to induce buyers. So since we induce buyers off of that area, you know, now we can say that we're generating liquidity at these lows. So now we know that we have liquidity at these lows. We need to build liquidity at these lows now to solidify some sort of entry or framework how we can get in the market. So we tap here, tap there, Buyers get induced by taking out this build-up area. Why is it a build-up area? We react off of that after taking out this low right here. Oh god, I can't. Where's it? Okay. So if you were, why did I pick out this low per se? If you look at price right here, attention to detail on a lower time frame, it's another low because this price action stabbed up, stabbed down, and then created some sort of BOS here. So that would essentially be the low that was taken out, that induced sellers. So we come up, had a build up, return back to this area, trade lower, and then come higher, inducing, trapping those sellers. So then now what we have here is just a move, always the downside. So we take out downside. We trade lower into these areas. And then price induces buyers yet again, taking out these highs. So once we take out those highs, we know that retail is buying this thing. Every time we see price react from these trap areas and induce buyers or essentially move away, we could potentially frame out some sort of potential trade. There might not always be some sort of, criteria that lines up with it. Like, you would need to see, all of our entry criteria. Like here we don't have no sort of liquidity block or any sort of, what I would say, internal or trap. In my eyes, there's no really real trap before the inducement. I would want it to see something like we have bearish example, so we trade back into it. We induce sellers here, and then they get trapped. And then there's some sort of entry taking out inducement high. This would have been something I would have wanted to look for after sellers were trapped. But that's potentially not what we get. So let's go to the lower time frames. Let's see what they gave us after this high was taken. So we trap sellers. We know that there's liquidity to these lows now because we induce buyers 1, 2 times. So as I framed out in a diagram, we could potentially see some sort of confirmation entry. Let's see what we have here. We have this LB here. So we take out this internal liquidity, which creates our LB. Take this low, and then price ends up coming for this high. Now, to be real with you, this is not an entry I would take. Asia session, and also the fact that this was respected and it wasn't taken out, kind of could have convinced me that price could have came above here. So in any case, if this was a New York session, I probably would have wanted price to come above here since we took it out this low. But sales would have been valid for me because we're still respecting this inducement low that took out this high. So since we took out that high, we're still respecting that inducement low. I still can have a sort of framework for sales, but since we took out this low, my liquidity would be I would be framing out price to come above here. This should be a trap in my eyes because we broke in structure. So therefore, no trade there. Price sells off, takes out the liquidity, takes out this structural low, then price does this. So this is London session. There's been an action London session this week, which is actually kind of weird on indices, I would say. So we take out this inducement high. Why is this the inducement high? So this area, as you can see, took out this low to the left. So let's just mark it out. This is where sellers were getting induced from. Clear as day, we can see price reacting off of this candle, creates that buildup, sells off, and then sells off again. So now we're just creating a build up here, a price action, and then we come up, we trade up, inducing buyers. So buyers get induced. And remember, look at where we're inducing buyers off of. Where is that? Okay, it's right there. So remember what we're inducing buyers off of. We're inducing buyers off of that area for the left, from the left, right? So that inducement from the left, we're inducing buyers off of. So there's no like real reason why price should be doing this, except for generating liquidity. So therefore, we still have a framework to look for sells. So what we have here now is we trap sellers. So now we take out this low. This low, why did we take out this low? Because this was the inducement high here. So we see price coming back to it, respect it, takes out a low. So there's that like trap move that I like to see price react off of it before it gets taken. So we're also respecting this area here. So since we respect this area here, that leads price to induce buyers. So since that leads price to induce buyers, we have starting to build up liquidity below here. So we take out this high. The high gets taken. Me personally still wouldn't enter yet, just because I would have wanted to see something a little bit clearer as far as like an inducement low. Like me personally, if I see this get taken, I would kind of be on the fences, just because I'd be trying to differentiate this as an inducement low or this. But I've seen like there's many times where I try to take like an entry here. Like I would try to take an entry here, right? And then this got taken, and then I would be taken out for a loss or a break even. So then I just need some sort of clearer vision on what my inducement low would be here. So I wouldn't have taken this entry, but it's a valid one in my opinion. Just it seems a little bit higher risk for me. So if you would want to take it, if it's the plan, just high risk in my opinion. Cover that LB above there. You still have liquidity to the downside of the target. So we also come back into this area, which would be our new inducement high. We respect it. Price is still trading at these lows. Price literally induces buyers off of nothing. So remember, since we induce buyers here, retail wants to be buying at these lows. We do not. We want to be selling into it. So price respects this area, dies, takes out the low. We still respect retail by inducing buyers off of this area from here. So look at how this move just happened off of nothing. Tuesday. So we just induce buyers off of nothing. Take out all this liquidity that we just generated. So this traps all the sellers in the market. Sellers get trapped. And notice how the LB that was marked out earlier gets respected. So we take out that inducement high there. And notice that LB that I marked earlier. That gets respected. So let's mark out that whole area. So in this scenario, this was kind of the same as this scenario as far as like the inducement low not being as clear. Still a valid entry to take if we were taking the sell here, but in my opinion high risk, just because of the fact that you could have saw that liquidity get taken. So that's why I didn't take that sell, but it's kind of a similar scenario to this one. So liquidity block gets saved and tagged. That's a potential aggressive entry there. I can't lie to you, live price, I would not see that, but it's there. Reason why this would be a nice entry to take is because you still have that liquidity to the left to target. All these lows are being respected after inducing buyers. So we induce buyers how many times after respecting that low? You induce buyers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 6 times. All that liquidity to the lows. So all that liquidity gets taken. Buyers are finally trapped. Where is buyers trapped? So buyers get finally trapped. And now we're on the 15. So now, once buyers get trapped, we now have a higher time frame target, which would be these highs, because sellers were selling from these areas, and now we have a buildup of liquidity now. Now, since the sellers are selling from this area, we have a buildup in the form of price respecting these areas, like, if you know what I mean, respecting these areas. So since we respected all these areas, that leaves a lot of liquidity in the market. Therefore, we have a potential target once we start to trade into these areas. So whenever we start to trade into these areas that haven't been mitigated, price will now start to build liquidity at them. So since we taken out this LB, we traded from this LB, sold off. This would be a potential area that we'd see retail selling from. That now turns into a trap. So price trades up into there, reacts, and then we have some sort of buildup. So let's go on to 5, see if we could dissect this a little bit. So nothing clean here. If you were trying to justify or dissect this price action, this is all you get. Just price trading lower. What caused this to induce buyers this low? So that's all I could get from that price action. This candle basically caused price to induce buyers. So that lets me know that there's a build up here. That lets me know there's a build up of this candle. So price could potentially reverse after taking out this low. And it does that. Inducement high gets taken. Inducement high gets taken. We induce buyers. Now we need to see buyers get trapped. So now we have here, we respected this area after sellers were reacting off of this area. Price takes that low out. This was the low that induced buyers. So that gets taken out. Price trades below here. Starts to fiddle around. Takes out this high. We take out that high. So we induce buyers again. Since we induce buyers again, we need to see them trapped. Since we're still in a bullish market environment, we still have these highs to target. So we need to see, hey, where is buyers going to be trapped from? That inducement low. So we have this area that respected here. Where's my shift button? It respected this area. Build up. Notice how. Right there. Oops. We trade into that area. Respect and move away. Notice how we came, respected, took out the low, came up, moved away, came up again, induced buyers again there, had a build up here, took it out. And then price induced buyers off of literally nothing. Price came here, induced buyers into the market with that move there, confirming that there's liquidity below these lows. So we take that out, have a small little reaction here, small reaction there, taking out this low. And one thing I noticed, NQ didn't have it. It was ES that had it. ES had a LB here, but NQ didn't, so that's not relevant. So we take out the low, but there's no like valid criteria here for us to take any entry off of. Price just traps sellers now. So sellers get trapped. That high gets taken. And you could argue saying, why did this high sell off of from this extreme here? So that lets you know, that gives you a sort of framework that, hey, okay, we reacted off of this high now. Since we reacted off of this from the left, and then we took the low out, right? That induces sellers. Now, as soon as that induces sellers, now there's what above here? Engineer liquidity. So now that gives you a framework to look for a buy to potentially target these highs. But do we get that on a lower time frame here? I'd have to look. I kind of don't like that price action. Okay. So we don't. I mean, this is like so intricate here. Like you'd have to be so confident in your entry here. So like we take this high. We take this high. Then we take this low. So if any event we create a liquidity block here, what I would wanted to have seen was this. Okay, so we respect it. If we stayed above this high, we stayed below this high, and this move came down, taking out this candle here, I would be fine with taking a buy. But since we traded above that high, there's no valid buy for me. So nothing valid there. So let's get trapped. And now we have price action here. So now we have a framework of where we just induce buyers, taking out all this liquidity here. So therefore, we want to see buyers get trapped. So now we come and trade into these areas. Direct entry, no, direct entry wasn't here because this is not an LB here. No LB here for me. If it did this, it would be LB for me. But you see how it didn't take out the low? Let me see if you can see it better. Oh, my drawing is not even accurate. Okay, so see how it didn't take the low? But ES did. That's why ES would have had a cleaner entry. But we're going to go over ES later. So, trap sellers. Now we have a framework of where we have an inducement low model now. An inducement low target. So, no liquidity at this low yet. Just because we've taken this high, there's no liquidity at this low yet. We need to trade into this low and respect it and induce buyers first. So once we take here, we trade in here, react. Okay. Now we're respecting this area. We're respecting this area that sellers were selling from. Obvious reasons. You know, you get your BLS here. It all starts from here though. That little area from here. So drag that out. Is this a red line? Okay, that's not a red line. Alright, so yeah, that starts from there. This candle takes out these lows too, so that's where sellers were getting induced from. Just drag that out. Price reacting off of these areas induces buyers by taking out this high. So now we induce buyers, but we're still trading in below an inducement high, so we're still inducing buyers here. So there's liquidity on both sides in the market right currently. You have liquidity here, and you have liquidity here. So this is where you want to wait to see when your buys would be essentially aligned, because now we're bearish because we have this inducement low and we don't want to be buying with retail. So we want to target these lows. So we would want to see this high get taken for any form of selling. So we start to build up. We have a build up here. This gets taken out. So now we know these highs could potentially get taken. So we have liquidity above here. Notice how price respected this area. 1, sold off. 2, came into these areas, respected it, traded up, taking this area. Okay, so now we're still respecting this inducement high. So now we traded below. We're reacting off of literally nothing to induce buyers. This is like not price action we'd want to be trading from. This is retail POIs that they would want to see, that they would want to buy from. So now we've taken this inducement high finally. This inducement high gets taken, and now we have some sort of sell-off. You could have taken a direct entry here, but it would have been on a higher time frame. So if we look at it, 1 hour, see how like it was a little bit more refined on a time frame that I was on, 15 minute, that you wouldn't have seen this high on the 1 hour. So if we look at it from the 15 minutes perspective, I would have wanted that high. So stops above there, target there, 1 to 3. So that's one entry. Save that. So now let's keep going back, see what else we can find here. So we have that sell-off. Price respects this area. Again, generating more liquidity. Sells off. Takes out this low. So it takes out this low. Cool. We didn't do sellers, but that doesn't matter yet, just because we're still trading in this range. We're still trading in this range here. So this here, taking out this low, isn't that much of a significance to wanting to see price come all the way up here, just because of the fact that we're still generating liquidity to go to the downside. We just need to see sellers trapped again, well, on a smaller scale. So we need to see another build up, see another form of price inducing buyers and sellers getting trapped. So let's get here. Price literally reacting off of nothing. So notice how we come in here. We create another build up. Come here. So first what price does, because price comes here, induces sellers, trades back into this area by respecting it, takes out the low, then price induces buyers. So once price induced buyers there, it still respects this area, sells off, and then we sold off. There's this little internal high, this internal high that was a potential LB, but now it's liquidity because we took it out this low. Internal high gets taken. So let's go to the lower time frame. Let's see what this was. So since internal high is taken, you have this LB area here. This LB area here, but it's hot. It's kind of hard to frame out some sort of anything here because you still have this high being respected. So therefore, I would not be interested in none of this price action. Price comes lower, takes the low out. We have a build up. Price respects it, takes out this low, respecting this area. We induce buyers. Price takes out this high, and then it's history. Price respects this, not respects this, it takes out this high that we were having a build up at. Reacts off of this LB area, but still a trap in my eyes because we're still under this, so I wouldn't have taken this. Price respects that, comes for the low, induces sellers. We're still respecting this low still, so we've induced buyers yet again off of nothing. Notice how we keep inducing buyers off of nothing, off of these trap areas. So now what we do is we come for these highs. Let's go on to 5 minute. So we come from this area that sellers were selling from. Why was sellers selling from this area? Notice how this candle gives a reaction after reacting off of that candle. Oh damn, that's bad. Pause. That's gonna be in the recording too, unfortunately. So that's basically just this liquidity low there. That this is basically that. So take that out. We also take out this too. Just internal areas we take out. I made an end of day about this price action too. So let's go over that because a lot of people might not have saw that. I'm caught in 4K. No. Oh, no. So I have an LB here. So yeah, we have an LB. And we respect this area. We respect it. So me, I personally would have wanted to take a sell above this. So notice how we got that build up. Where we at? We respect this area. Sell off again. And yeah, we didn't take out this low yet, so that's like prime entry for me. We didn't take out this low yet, and then we come for the high first. This would be an entry I would love to take. So me, I would take it to the lows. That would be entry 1. So me, I'd want to manage below here. So since we never took out this low, I would have got taken out for a loss because this would be my BE point. Notice how we're just respecting retail here. We're just respecting retail here. Like we induce buyers off of this anyways too. So it's like, I wouldn't have taken a re-entry though, but this would be my entry. I get taken out, unfortunately. Just the name of the game. Like we didn't even induce sellers here. Like some could argue this got taken and there's a liquidity block below, but come on now, like I would not have seen that in live price because you could argue and say, hey, this caused a build up, but at the end of the day, I wouldn't even look at that in live time. I would take this out. So sellers get trapped. Now sellers get trapped. Now we come into this area. We take out this low. Did we take out that low? We did take out that low. Okay. Low is taken. We're still staying below all this liquidity, so this doesn't matter yet. We respect this area. We react off of this area. And then we trade below, taking out this low. So now we take out this low. So now we can expect price to induce buyers again, reacting off of these lows that are reacting off of these lows essentially. So let's go back. So we could draw out another trap area. And all these lows should just be a catalyst to generate false reactions because we did this. We induced buyers here. So we know now that we induced buyers here, all these trap areas should generate some sort of reaction to where we can induce buyers again to come lower. So react again. We ended up taking this inducement high. Notice how we respected this area. And we take out this high. Me, I didn't get in this entry just because I was focused on YM. We take out this formal liquidity block there. Kind of hard entry to take for some of you probably, but just remember, like, look at where we're respecting. Like, when you start to get these areas getting respected, these trap areas, and then as soon as price induces buyers, sometimes there's a liquidity block that's a little bit intricate, but there's always entries whenever, there's always confirmation or continuation entries whenever this happens. So a potential entry there, targeting the lows. So sellers finally get trapped, and that was not sellers get trapped, buyers get trapped, sorry. So that was this low here. Once this low gets taken, we could expect price to do the same thing again, hunt for the next point of liquidity. So now the next point of liquidity would be the highs that we were taking sells from. So remember how we respected this area after taking this high out? Now we have liquidity there. So target from the lows is taken. No potential buys here because we didn't respect this high. You take it out. So it just takes high, it takes this low, and price moons. Actually, was there like a confirmation though? No confirmation in my opinion. Nah, too intricate for me. I can't even dissect none of that. So then we just moon. Price just starts to induce higher, taking out this low level of liquidity. So now sellers get trapped again. Same thing, same diagram. All that was liquidity got built there after all this price action. But that has to happen once the target gets taken. So now that gets taken, sellers get trapped. Now we have another reason to target the lows that we just induced buyers from. So this would be our target. No liquidity there because we didn't react off of anything yet. So all we have is our inducement low. Let's price take out this high. Price takes out this high, but there's no LB there. Take out this high. So we respect this low a little bit. Nothing there for me, honestly. I think it was on the 15 minute actually. Because was this an LB on the 15 minute? Because I remember I think Adam or Marco took this entry. Like, yeah, there. I think they took it like this, if I'm not mistaken. Like straight off of this tab. Oh, actually, no, they didn't, because this is on London session. But this is a valid entry, actually, though, just because you have LB here. You have price respecting this inducement low. Price respects it. And then you get the reaction. First candle takes it above while still respecting the low. So that's a potential direct entry there on a high time frame perspective. And then you just take it to the low. So that's one opportunity in London. I wish I got that in London. That's actually really clean. Actually really clean. And you also get this. Price respects this area. Tapping there. Gets taken out. And then you get more sellers get induced. You have a liquidity block here. And then you have this internal point. Internal point gets taken. Another potential sell. I know you guys took this as well. I wasn't able to take this though. I don't know if you were able to get 1 to 3 out of this. Oh, here's the target from the left, the inducement from the left. So this area has been causing this area here to induce buyers. So we have all this liquidity here essentially. Reacted here and then reacted here again. So you have this target here as well. So NQ provided pretty much a lot of good opportunity. So those were 2 higher time frame entries. You got the lower time frame, another higher time frame, a high risk entry, another I would say not really high risk, medium. This would have been a high risk for me just because I would have seen it taking this high, but this is liquidity block and you gotta inducement high. So to each their own. But pretty good opportunity on NQ. Price then moons up. So as soon as sellers get trapped, buyers get trapped, now we have price doing the same thing, hunting for the next point of liquidity towards the highs. I wanted to take a sell above here, but I was looking at it from a time frame like this perspective instead of looking at it from a 4-hour perspective. Like if we look at it from here, we can clearly see that now there's liquidity above here. If we were to take out this, the next target point would essentially be here. Because now that I look at it, this was already respecting that LB, so there was no use for it again. There's just liquidity above there now. So that's NQ. Let's go over. Let's look at ES real quick. Well, not ES. Let's look at YM actually. YM had something. So if we go to YM kind of looked the cleanest as far as direction. But if we let's just do that. So sellers are trapped. Let's just go over. I'm just gonna go over the same scenario on how we can like dissect which one to trade and which one to leave alone. So take the high, then we induce lower. So this gives us a liquidity block. We take the high, so now this liquidity block should be a trap. Draw out the red box. We want to see reactions from this area. We want to see some sort of sellers getting, not sellers, buyers getting induced. We also have this area from the left that it's reacting off of. So if you want to know why this induced buyers because of this area. So we want to see liquidity generated because there's no liquidity yet until we react here. So price respects this area here, creates an LB, has a sell-off, so now we can expect price to take out this high. Does that, potential sell entry. I actually had a forecast of this when I was going to bed, and I didn't put no limit or no alert, so that was annoying. But there's one entry there, higher time frame entry there, and then we also get this area here. Price gets induced. Price induces buyers here. We build up all the shit ton of liquidity to the lows. Let's go on a 5 minute so we can see what happened. So here, even though we've taken this low here, we are still respecting this whole build-up area. So I know that I want to see price come for the inducement high. Normally, I would want to see price come here, but since there's no LB there, I know that price could potentially come to the extreme. So all I look for is, what did this do? I see I have a liquidity block here. Cool. Okay, how can I take this entry? I want to see the last low or last high before my LB. So what is that? If I frame it out, this area right here caused price to induce sellers here. So all this move does right here, that wick just reacts to that area. So knowing that, and price just respects here, comes lower and respects the low, inducing buyers again, that just lets me know, okay, that just gives me more clarity to take this entry. So that's the entry that I took on Thursday. All we gotta do is just target those lows, especially those lows to the left. Boom. That was like right there to the T too. Right there to the T. So after those lows get taken, traps buyers. So buyers get trapped. We could expect to move to the upside just because liquidity is taken now. Liquidity is taken now. Yes, we do still have liquidity at these lows, but we're not there yet. So what happens is price then comes further to the highs that we were selling at as liquidity. I know some people got in some YM longs. I didn't even expect YM to long like that. Honestly with you, to be honest, is this LB? Is that an LB? That is an LB. So what we do is we take out this low. Cool. We're respecting this area though. And we create it. That's kind of hard. I mean, actually, no, it's not, because you got this inducement low here. So as you see, this low is the reason why we induced higher, taking out that high. So that gives us our inducement low. And then we start to respect this trap area. Start to respect the trap area. And we stay below it, so that's actually good. So since we stay below it, and then we take the low first, I see why you guys take this entry, because this is actually pretty clean. So you have LB there, inducement low there. Price respects this area. Since it stayed below this area, and it induced buyers here, look at that, creating another build-up, another area for buyers to want to buy off of. That's another reason why I would take this entry. LB here. You can honestly cover the whole low. It's up to you. Personal preference. Just target the highs. Pretty good entry. Not a 1 to 3 in my opinion. Not a 1 to 3 though. But at the same time, it's a very clean entry. Still. So, before we take the highs out, we take out this high. And then price takes out this low. Induces buyers. So now we have an inducement low now. No liquidity there yet because we didn't induce buyers yet. So now, react from it. Take out this high, which induces buyers. And we have some sort of liquidity block here. So now, all we need to see is some internal get taken. So now we could trade below here. So we trade below there, and now we take out this high. Take out this high, price respects the LB. We have all this liquidity to the downside now since we just induced buyers, trapping sellers. So this is another potential entry here. A little bit high risk since we took out the low, but we respected this low, this liquidity block, this trap area to induce buyers into our liquidity block there. Just target the lows that we were buying from. That's one target area, and you also have, I'm pretty sure you have, what low was it? No, I'd keep it at this low, honestly. I'd keep it at that structural low. This is kind of reaching in my opinion, just because of, I don't see no clear like reaction point from there. Yeah, I don't see no clear like reaction point from there, so just keep it at this low. So that was actually a pretty nice trade there. And then buyers get trapped. Price comes for, let's go on a lower time frame again. See what we can see. So this is Thursday still. Price comes for this inducement high. Why is this inducement high? Remember, high, low. That took out all these buyers. So once we take that, buyers get induced. So now we also have this. Price creates our inducement high. Inducement high gets taken. High risk entry just because we've taken out this low. Target the low. And then price just sells off and then starts to respect lows and starts to move up. So we come up, take out this high. Price respects this area. Me personally, I'm not taking buys here. Not taking buys there. Price starts to move up. So that's YM. YM has some pretty good price action as well. Can't lie. YM definitely has some pretty good price action as well. ES, I'm gonna go over ES just because it's a little bit similar to NQ. It's price action, just about the same. I mean, there was only subtle differences. Let's see. There was that one entry. Let's see if I can find it though. So notice how it's literally the same thing. You know, we induce sellers here. So now, once these were taken, we know that the next form of liquidity would be above here. So once that's taken, now we need to see some sort of buildup. Price takes this out, creates that LB, takes this out. Oh my god, my mouse. Where's my mouse? This is so terrible. Okay, so now we have an LB there, but it's a trap, so we can expect some sort of buildup. We get that. Same scenario as NQ. Takes out this, respects this LB here, sells off. So that's entry one, and that's just staying on the higher time frame. So that's entry one. I think there's a better way to get into this though. I want to see like the intricacies of this price. So you have that being the origin, because that is not a 1 to 3. So there, I mean, you get a better R there, 1 to 3 or whatever. So you have liquidity there. Price ends up taking this low first before really doing anything, and then buyers get induced. Let's see if there was anything on the lower time frame. I mean, this is actually pretty clean here. Hold on. Entries on the higher time frame is just basically the same thing as the lower time frame. It's honestly, everything is the same. It's just time frame relative as far as you seeing it on a different time frame. Oof. Okay, so you get this. Price takes a low, so since it takes a low, again, high risk in my opinion, I would not take a direct entry. So induce my high is taken, cool. Now I need to see something else form. We have this build up area. Price inducing buyers off of there, cool. So now we induce buyers off of there. That could be a potential confirmation entry for me. Covering the high and then going to the lows. Okay. And price does that. Cool. So that's ES. I mean, not too much on ES. It's really the same thing as NQ, YM. Not the best to go over, but the best indices this week has just been NQ and YM, really. What's going on, Marco? What's going on, bro?